So we're back again here on the Get Foxy show, this time with my wonderful mentor, Michelle Gellis. Michelle, thank you so much for taking the time today to be on the show with us.
Well, thank you for having me, Terry.
So my first question for you is, I'm always curious about how folks kind of get into the acupuncture profession. It's not something that the majority of people get into or even consider doing, although I think that's changing. But how did you fall into the realm of acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine? Was that something that you kind of knew you were going to do, or did it kind of just fall in your lap? How did that work out?
Well, actually, my background is in computers, so it wasn't, Chinese medicine was not something I ever thought I would be practicing. And being someone who's always hated needles, um, certainly not on my top 10 of careers when I was growing up. And when my youngest child was born, he was diagnosed with a condition that affected his eyes, and he has nystagmus, so his eyes move left to right. And I did some research and found an article in the British Journal of Ophthalmology, and this was 22 years ago, and it said that acupuncture can help with nystagmus. And so I took my little tiny baby to an acupuncturist. I was living in New Mexico at the time. And it just so happens the person that I took him to was a world renowned author, scholar, working at one of the acupuncture schools there. But he's one of the world's leading experts on scalp acupuncture, which can help with the nystagmus. And after just a few treatments, I really started to notice a difference. And when I moved to Maryland, a couple of years later, I started getting acupuncture. And after my second treatment, I said, that's it. This is what I want to do. And that was it. I went to the registration office and filled out an application and got my prerequisites done and was in acupuncture school a few months later.
And so how did you go from just straight up acupuncture to specializing in facial work?
Um, when I was a student, um, I was actually at a family event, um, and one of our family's friends, who's an acupuncturist in New York, was talking about facial rejuvenation acupuncture, and I thought that is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard in my life. Like, aren't you embarrassed to even suggest it? And because I'd never heard of it, and went back to school, and one of my colleagues said that one of the big gurus in facial rejuvenation acupuncture was teaching a class, and would I go with her? And I thought, well, this is a strange coincidence, and I needed, to start expanding my horizons, and I thought it would be a fun weekend. And after I graduated, I just was really drawn to the idea of using something more natural to um, kind of turn back the signs of aging and really help to refresh and rejuvenate the skin, and combined with a full body treatment, um, to make you more relaxed. And when you're relaxed, your face is relaxed, and vice versa. When your face is relaxed, you're relaxed, because um, our skin on our face is the only place in our body where the skin is attached to the muscle, and therefore you can move the skin on your face. And so there's a feedback system between our emotions and how we feel physically. Like if you just smile you'll feel happier. And if you put on a sad face, you will feel sad. So I took a lot of cosmetic acupuncture classes, went to seminars, did a lot of reading. And since I work at an acupuncture school, I had a lot of resources available to me, both with my colleagues and just, my own mentors. And about, it was 2005, 2006, I put together a weekend course, which has now grown into something much larger, trainings. And actually, um, I'm now training people internationally. And I'm supposed to be in London in 3 weeks, but I'll be doing that through interactive tele-webinar class through the power of the interweb. So,
I can tell you, I've got some friends in Britain that were definitely excited to have you over there.
I know. I
So,
was excited. I can't tell you. I still haven't canceled my plane ticket. I mean, it's not entirely true. I did call, and they said that they couldn't give me a refund yet. So I still have the ticket, but the class is not going to happen. But I am going to reschedule it because London was on my kind of my bucket list. I've never been to the UK.
yeah, we'll give it some time and it'll work out. What I heard you say is that you got into the facial work because you were looking for something a little bit more natural, which tells me that you've got an opinion on Botox that might be a little different than the rest of society.
Well, um, anything that goes against the way the body normally would function, um, typically is going to have some sort of an adverse reaction. And they have found Botox in cerebral spinal fluid. And as I mentioned before, if you freeze the muscles in your forehead and you can't make an angry face, then any anger that might be coming up that you would normally express is being suppressed, and not in a good way, not in a, well, she doesn't have anger issues anymore, but more in a, you still feel the anger, but there's nothing you can do about it. So it gets stuck in our body. Um, our face is the way that we release our emotions, sometimes pathologically, sometimes too much. Um, but we should be able to emote the expressions that we feel. And then, besides the fact that it's a chemical and um, what it does to your muscles and your nervous system, um, using a lot of these things, we still don't know, uh, what the long-term effects are of using these things. So I would rather see someone relax these overly tight muscles naturally than to have them paralyzed with chemical.
And right now, with what we've got going on with this global pandemic, you and I were talking a little bit about how the challenge is with working with people through telemedicine now. And you were mentioning that cupping and gua sha were something that you were talking with people about. Can you give the listeners a little bit more details on that?
Yeah, so um, just, I didn't know we were going to be talking about this, but I just so happen to have some facial cups and gua sha tools here because we are in my treatment room. And so the cups that I like anyway are they're glass and they have a little rubber um, ball at the end, which is pretty easy to squeeze. And the way that I teach my students and the way I've been coaching my patients to do facial cupping is you place the cup on different acupuncture points on the face. And then, now I don't have any oil on my face, but you can, it shouldn't drag the skin like that. And I don't have any oil handy. It's in
Oh,
the other room.
no
But
worries.
anyway, so you would move the cup along um, the face and it stimulates blood and collagen and it's very nourishing to the skin. It's actually very relaxing. So in addition to using it on my patients, this is something that people can do at home for self-care. And the gua sha tools are the ones that I like are made out of jade. And again, this is something that you can do yourself at home. It's wonderful for sculpting the face. You can use a little edge and massage different acupuncture points on the face. So when I work with my patients, I have a little chart and there's just dots and it says, you know, massage here, massage here. You can scrape this way. You can go along your cheek here and underneath the eye at the same time, massage your temples. And I actually like working with two tools and just kind of getting in a nice rhythm. But doing this stuff safely and properly is important. You don't want to bruise yourself or pull on your skin or, you know, break any of the little capillaries in your face.
How important to you do you think home care is when it comes to taking care of your face in addition to the facial acupuncture?
Well, Terry, even before um, the pandemic, when I was seeing patients on a regular basis, I mean, at that point, I was not recommending cupping and gua sha to my patients because I would do it in the treatment room. But I always recommended a microneedle derma roller to my patients to use in between treatments to enhance the treatments and to treat the skin um, on a, you know, on a more superficial level. And I felt so strongly about it. I started a derma roller company many before anyone had ever heard of a derma roller. So the AccuLift skincare is my company, and we have derma rollers that are sterile and very safe. And I've sold tens of thousands of them in the past 15 years.
I have a couple.
You have a couple?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been great for me because I don't have anyone to work on me. And, uh, you know, we're all going to come out of this looking a little wonky, I think. You seem to have been doing a good job of grooming yourself. But as I was joking to you, you know, I dyed my own hair for the first time in my life. And um, it's, you know, interesting the things that we take for granted and that we pay other people for as a luxury. But the truth of the matter is, any of you who are watching this who've ever tried dyeing your own hair, those ads that you see, these women, they, you know, they're like, they wash their hair and it comes out this beautiful color. My natural hair color is not black. So it was quite a shock to me. So I definitely like having someone else tend to myself, and having a derma roller is nice because it is something that I can do for myself um, now.
I
So
think this is a good transition into the question that I ask all my guests. And that question is, what does Foxy and being Foxy mean to you, Michelle? Because we're talking a lot about, we're stuck in our houses, we're not looking the best, but does Foxy mean, looking your best, or is it feeling your best, or what does it mean to you, Michelle?
When I think about it, I think there's a lot that goes into it. I think that being self-confident and comfortable in your own skin is important. And that's different for everyone. You know, what makes them feel their best. I mean, being foxy can have a connotation of just looking a certain way, but really being happy with who you are and having that confidence, that inner confidence, that can come out in many ways as well. I also, I think that self-care is so important. I see a lot of people, especially in our industry, who are exhausted, taking care of other people all the time. They don't take care of themselves. They don't eat right. They don't sleep right. They don't get enough water. They don't get enough exercise. And because they're so busy tending to their families or their patients. And as you get older, uh, all of us, not just women, but all of us require a lot more self-care. We're like old cars, you can't you you can't run the engine with your foot, on the pedal all the way down for years and years and years and expect to look like a spring flower. You really do need to um, take care of some of the dead branches and make sure you're getting your sunlight and your water and all your nutrients. So, I mean, that's my take on it anyway. Everyone has a lot of excuses for why they can't take care of themselves, and um, I don't buy any of it, honestly.
What does self-care look like for you?
I mean, what do I do?
Yes.
Oh, how much time do we have?
We've got a couple minutes yet.
So, my self-care takes place early in the morning and late at night. I don't do a whole lot during the day other than drink water. But I get up relatively early, like at between 6 and 7. Even during the pandemic, I've been getting up early, trying to stick to my routine as much as I can. And um, as soon as I open my eyes, uh, I get some coffee or tea and I exercise for a half an hour. I have in my house, I have lots of different exercise equipment so I don't get bored. Um, and I recognize not everyone has the room or the money, although you'd be surprised at how inexpensively you could buy really high-end exercise equipment used these days because people are just, anyway, they buy it and they don't use it. Um, and then, I eat 3 small meals a day. I have 1 or 2 snacks a day, and make sure that I get up from my computer if I'm working every hour or so and stretch. And then before I go to bed, I make certain that I never go to bed without washing my face. And some nights I'll put a mask on, but I always use my derma roller and whatever skincare treatment I'm doing that night. And that's it. I mean, I keep it pretty simple, but like I said, I'm almost 60, and when I was 25, I didn't have to do a whole lot, and everything looked great. I wish then I knew what I know now, I would have put a lot more effort in up front, and it wouldn't have required so much effort now, so much damage control later on.
Well, there we go, ladies. To the wisdom of Michelle, start on your self-care and take care of yourself, because it does make a difference. Michelle, if the listeners want to get more information about working with you or your derma rollers, how can they find that information?
Well, um, all of the information about me and all the links to just about everything that is me is on my website for my practice, which is uh, Gellis, Gellis, acupuncture.com. And if you are an acupuncturist and you're watching this, you can go to facial acupuncture classes, all one word.com. And there are links to my trainings and my professional publications and things of that nature.
Fantastic. Well, I will keep the links up there on the show notes so that they're easily accessible. And if you can believe it, we're out of time already, Michelle.
Great. Wow.
Time flies when you're having fun. So thank you so much
You're
for taking
welcome.
time. I so appreciate you being able to be here.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Terry.